estimated that 1 in every 5 Indians is poor. Now, the problem with poverty is improving big time. However, when we look at statistics, we see that over 270 million Indians live below the poverty line. And that's crazy to think that a country so massive and diverse and cutting edge as India, that so many of its residents can barely even afford basic needs.
40% of the people don't have house to live. They don't have enough to eat. They don't have the things which they can wear. I think the poverty is a major problem which India is facing nowadays.
And that's a scary thought, because with that there comes a whole lot of other issues like corruption, and that's what I'm going to be touching on next, the corruption in India at number 9.
Hundreds of thousands of Indians took to these streets to protest against corruption, camping out in this area for weeks.
According to the Corruption Perception Index, India ranks 79th in the world, and this is out of 176 countries in total. There have been many scams from people like Vijay Mallya as well as Nirav Modi, who've scammed people out of billions of dollars. They embezzle money and then leave the country and never come back. But it's hard to put the blame on anyone. Like, is it the government system that we can blame, or do we just straight up blame the people of India?
Many Indians feel corruption is still deeply entrenched and on the rise.
In at number 8, we have brain drain. Now, this is a big problem that's pretty scary for the future of India. Brain drain refers to highly trained or very intelligent people moving from one country to another. And in recent years, brain drain has been happening in India at a rapid rate. India has seen an increase in brain drain over 80% since the year 2003. So India continues to be at risk to lose its top scientists, engineers, entrepreneurs, as well as its top business people in general. And it's hard to think, because like India is still a developing country, it's fast growing. Why do people want to go? At number 7, we have teachers.
One of the main challenges to help achieve quality public education in India is overcoming the teacher gap.
For a country with such a big population, the task of educating its residents is a massive task. India just doesn't have enough teachers.
To organize and to coordinate an over-expanding public education system is not an easy task.
India has a shortage of 1 million teachers, and some schools have 1 teacher. That's it. As a matter of fact, according to reports, India has over 100,000 single teacher schools. Now, what's even more surprising is that over 1.1 million teachers in India do not have the proper training to even be a teacher. So oftentimes they're left with the scenario of the blind leading the blind. Imagine showing up to class and you're the one teaching the teacher.
The long-standing problem of teacher shortage in India remains unsolved, and the government continues to appoint and train teachers, the so-called para-teachers.
Now, it's not just a shortage of teachers India faces, but also a major shortage in its doctors.
Healthcare institutions in our country are fraught with an acute shortage of medical staff, and the lack of infrastructure puts a question mark over the healthcare service delivery in the country.
Why this is so scary is that many people have to wait long periods of time before getting treated and being seen by a doctor. Stats show that one doctor in India on average serves 1,668 people.
There is only one government hospital bed for every 1,844 people and one state-run hospital for every 55,591 people.
Doctors are often attacked because, well, people just get fed up with waiting so long. This leaves the doctors to have to protest for their own safety.
Some doctors claim they routinely face threats from patients and their relatives, and they want the government to introduce a law to ensure better security at all hospitals.
Halfway at number 5 in this episode, we have jobs.
The report explains that at the core of the problem are fewer job opportunities, which in turn lead to low wages.
Estimates indicate that in India, there are over 30% of its young people who are actually unemployed. They also aren't in any sort of education system and lack training to even get a job. These stats only take into account people between the ages of 15 and 29. And what makes this exceptionally scary is that more than 60% of Indians are under the age of 35. Next up, I want to look at the judicial system. This number is most likely going to continue to climb, but from the year 2017, India had 2.8 million cases that were pending.
23 lakh cases which are over a decade old are pending in various subordinate courts of the country. Total nearly 2.5 crore cases pending in the lower courts.
But if this shortage of 15,000 judges was met, these cases could actually at least have a fighting chance to be settled in court. So just imagine you're a part of a very big case, or even something small, whatever, right? You'd probably have to wait years upon years to even get a chance to have this handled in court. That must be frustrating.
1,132 civil and 84 criminal cases had been pending for more than a decade.
Everything needs to work together if we have to really sort this out, because the cases only seem to be piling really right from the lowest level to the highest level.
In at number 3, we have the cleanliness of India.
And I have one problem with my country. And the problem is, why is India so filthy?
The objectives of the Swachh Bharat is a campaign to clean up India, and it's to clean up all parts of India, including getting rid of human waste by building more household and public toilets.
In those houses, these houses, or these houses, people don't have any toilets, so everyone just crosses this street and goes to the public toilets right there.
And to have the community hold each other accountable to monitor these toilets.
They have toilets on both sides, this side right here. Every single door has a different toilet.
Contrary to what people believe, the dirtiness of India isn't caused by a lack of money, but rather it's more attributed to people's attitude towards cleanliness.
Our budget goes up 10 times. Do you think our cities will be clean? What do you think? And the answer is no. I think we all realize it's not about money or systems. It is about us as a people.
But hey, it's your country. India is such a beautiful place. If people did work together, imagine how much more beautiful India would look. The population comes in at number 2, and oh man, India has, there's a lot of people, over 1.3 billion of them.
You can ask a 10 or a 12-year-old what is India's biggest problem, and even a child will be able to tell you: our population.
And that's a scary thought in itself, because it's also a growing number, causing India to suffer from overpopulation.
And yet by 2022, they're saying that we're going to overtake China's population.
Now, if you didn't know, India makes up 17% of the world's total population. And it may sound cool to be the country with the second largest population in the world, and it's, yeah, sure, you can brag about it, but that's a lot of demand for one country to meet. A lot of people to feed, a lot of jobs to create, so we run into problems with India's fast-growing and large population. And at number 1, I didn't really want to talk about this, but I gotta touch on the assault on females.
As Stuart Greer reports, the government has toughened laws on sexual violence against women, but it remains deeply entrenched in India's staunchly patriarchal society.
According to the latest numbers in India, there's 106 rapes that happen per day. That's upwards of 40,000 per year. Now, these type of stories often plague the news headlines, and it's a growing concern, not just for women, but for men too.
And most of the predators just get away with it.
A lot of young men and boys, insensitive, very patriarchal mindset, and when they are at large, they are the ones who are attacking women.
Even with the female empowerment movement, this is something that needs a lot more attention, and it's a scary reality that the people of India face. Starting at number 10, we have Jodhpur's mysteries. On December 18th, 2012, a sudden, deafening sound came out of nowhere, crashing into the sky. It sounded like a massive explosion. And when people checked it out, it was found that there was no airplane or anything nearby at that time. So what was that big sound? The weird part about this is that the incident happened, and the rest of October, actually, there were other similar booms and explosions in the sky that were heard, but nothing was seen. These strange sounds were heard in almost every country, from United Kingdom to the United States. And sometimes the sound was accompanied by green lights. Okay, so where did these sounds come from? Were they connected? Was it some kind of strange new weapon, or maybe alien activity? Maybe we'll never know. Moving on to number 9, we have the City of Twins. This is very interesting. So in the Guinness Book of World Records, Kodinhi, also known as God's own country of twins, is listed 4th for having the most twins overall. Now in India, 9 twins are born for every 1,000 babies compared to an average of 4 worldwide. However, out of 1,000 births in this enigmatic village in Kerala, 45 twins are born. The estimated 2,000 families living in the village currently have about 400 pairs of twins, which is quite surprising in and of itself. What's the cause that is producing so many twins? Next up, at number 8, we have the cursed village of Kuldhara. The village is situated in the Rajasthan region of India, and the reason why it was abandoned was, according to a legend, the evil eyes of Salim Singh, the Prime Minister of the state, fell on the daughter of the village head, and he desired to marry her by force. So he threatened the village with grave consequences if they did not bend to his wishes. Instead of submitting to the order though, they had a council, and the people of the 85 villages there, they left their ancestral homes and they completely vanished. But this was not all. Before leaving, they put a curse on Kuldhara that no one would ever be able to settle in their village thereafter. And to this day, the village remains barren. Even if someone tries to live there, they are chased away by paranormal activities. The next mystery to look at is Ladakh's magnetic hole. Located at a distance of 30 kilometers from Leh city on the Leh-Kargil highway, it is a small stretch of road that defies the phenomenon of gravity. It is famously known as the Magnetic Hill of Ladakh, and the reason why is because the hill actually pulls stationary vehicles upwards. Yeah, villagers residing in the magnetic hills of Ladakh, they believe that there once existed a road that led people all the way to heaven, and those who deserved it, they were drawn directly to the path. Next up, the Immortals of the Himalayas. Gayanganj, also known as the City of Immortal Beings, is situated in a village in the Himalayas. The exact location though is unknown, and it has never been found by anyone. Supposedly anyways. Buddhists, particularly those from Tibet and India, they assert that Gayanganj is not merely a location, but rather it's a higher realm. They claim that only wise people, yogis, and other deserving souls can actually find Gayanganj, and those who choose to stay there, well, they permanently gain immortality. Even though it may have only existed in common folklore, some well-known spiritual leaders have actually claimed to have visited it, making the legend even more popular. The mystery at number 5 leads us to the Bhootbili. An unknown creature known as the Bhootbili terrorized some regions of India, and it is a strange cryptid that resembles a cross between a dog, a cat, and a mongoose. The Bhootbili has been reported to have jumped up in a tree at least once to get away from people who are trying to catch it, because it's believed that it is capable of making very long jumps. It is said to be enormous and vicious, and yes, it's smaller than a lion but bigger than a hyena in size. Now and then, residents of the area have reported seeing the Bhootbili consuming up to 45 pigeons and a goat at any given time. Let's take a look at this UFO base at number 4. The Kongka La Pass, situated in the Himalayas, is also called No Man's Land. The area has a reputation for UFO sightings. It is believed that the area around the Kongka La Pass is a base of UFO landings on Earth and not just a small landing site, because apparently witnesses from both China and India saw UFOs land there. Just like Area 51 over in the United States is a supposed UFO base, well, Kongka La Pass is the UFO base in India, supposedly. Number 3 leads us to the mystery of Shanti Devi. The woman who allegedly remembered her previous life details said that around 9 years ago she passed away after 10 days of giving birth to a baby boy, and in her past life she was married to somebody named Kedar Nath. Now, there was a local man with the exact same name that was found who actually confirmed the whole story. The meeting between Shanti Devi and Kedar Nath was then arranged. Along with Kedar Nath, Lujgi, Shanti Devi's previous name, as well as son and his wife, traveled with him. However, Kedar Nath pretended to be his older brother, but Shanti Devi and her son Navneet Lal instantly recognized him. That is creepy and mind-blowing. Moving on to number 2, the 9 unknown men. According to reports, Ashoka the Great founded the 9 unknown men, one of the oldest and most significant secret societies more than 2,000 years ago in India. According to the legend, Emperor Ashoka held the view that knowledge is power, and the key to maintaining that power was to gather, cultivate, and use knowledge in a way that could be put to great use. But that could also be very disastrous if it fell into the hands of the wrong person. So to create a society known as the 9 unknown men, he called together 9 of the brightest minds in India at the time from various fields and disciplines. So is this secret society still in operation? Who are these 9 men? What did they discuss? What sort of secret knowledge do they know about that maybe we don't know? Now, number 1 leads us to the mysteries of the Taj Mahal. Like any other memorial, the Taj Mahal has a lot of mysterious doors and rooms. There are a number of these rooms in the Taj Mahal that haven't been used since Shah Jahan's time, and he was the 5th emperor of the Mughal Empire. According to research, these rooms have revealed evidence that the tomb was a temple dedicated to Lord Shiva. Additionally, it is claimed that further investigations into the existence of the Taj Mahal is prohibited by Indian law. Now, the book, The Truth of the Taj Mahal, has also been restricted by the administration. Furthermore, the Indian government forbids anyone from entering these mysterious rooms out of concerns for widespread problems. And that leaves people kind of scratching their heads, wondering what is inside these mysterious rooms.
Let's get started because the Punjab region is a very important state and very unique because it is the only state in India that has the people of the Sikh community listed as the majority of the population. Now in 2011 they had about 57.5% of the people in the entire population really following the way of the Sikh religion. And compare that to Hinduism, which is the more popular religion within the country, they only had about 38.5% of its population following that way. And as for this population, it's roughly over 27,700,000 people, making it the 16th largest state in the entire country when it comes to population. As for size, however, it is approximately 50,362 kilometers square. And putting that all together, its population density is approximately 550 people per square kilometer. And because of its size, it stands as the 20th largest state in all of India. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into this region because the state of Punjab has 22 different districts, and spread out across that there are 5 different divisions, which are Patiala, Rupnagar, Jalandhar, Faridkot, and of course Firozpur. And within all those divisions there is approximately 22 major cities and 157 towns. However, the capital of Punjab, India is Chandigarh with a population of over 1 million people. So, diving into the history of the Punjab region, well, first of all, it's been around for a long time. As a matter of fact, because of the Indus Valley civilizations, they were around in the area anywhere between 800 to 400 BC. And this area was known as Trigarda, which was a kingdom that was mentioned in the Mahabharata. And for those who don't know what the Mahabharata is, it's basically ancient India Sanskrit epics telling the narrative of Kaurava and Pandava. And if we dive a little more into its history, we find that the whole Sikh community and religion all started off in this area. And this all came to be after India's King Akbar met with Guru Amar Das in 1569. Now the two got along so well that it is believed that Akbar actually gave a plot of land to the Guru himself. This is because Akbar believed so hard in the freedoms of Sikhism that the land he donated was to be used for the Guru's langar, which is basically the kitchen that serves the poor. Which this eventually led to many people really following the Sikh way of life, that it grew exponentially within the region. And thus led to the formation of the Sikh Empire from 1801 to 1849. However, this empire didn't last very long because the British Empire came in and pretty much squashed it out. And as for India in Punjab, it got its independence on April 5th, 1947. And as for the Punjab region back then, it wasn't quite the same as the Punjab as we know of today. This is because Himachal Pradesh and Haryana eventually split from the region on October 31st, 1966. But one thing to know about the Punjab region is it is known for its land. As a matter of fact, it's one of the most fertile lands in the entire world. Because of this, it is known as the Golden Harvest or the Granary of India, or sometimes even India's breadbasket. And Punjab is known as the major agricultural state of all of India. As a matter of fact, it produces 10.6% of India's cotton, and in 2013 it produced over 17% of the country's wheat and 11% of the rice for India. And as a matter of fact, when it comes to wheat and cotton on a worldwide scale, they provide 2% of the world's needs. And because of this, it won the National Productivity Award in India for 10 years. But although it's huge with agriculture, one of the biggest things that it's really concerned about, and especially of today, is the water table. With agriculturally being heavily dependent on it, there have been many studies to show that it is drastically falling over a meter every single year. And it is quite a reoccurring issue that happens within the state. We should also mention, because it's the biggest agricultural state in the entire country, it is also the state with the lowest level of hunger within the entire country of India. So, Punjab, what else has it got going for it? Well, let's talk about its literacy. For example, its literacy rate in 2011 was at 75.84%, with males being above 80% and females being around 70%. Because of this, the Punjab region has 23 universities, and one school in particular, the Punjab Agricultural University, is the world's leading university for study of agriculture. But we keep going back to agriculture. Why is this area so fertile? Why is it so world famous? Well, let's take a look at the name Punjab. First of all, it comes from two words. Punj, which basically means 5, and ab, basically meaning water. Meaning 5 water, or in this case, 5 rivers. The rivers we are talking about are a collection in the Indus River Basin, and they keep the area greatly watered. And to list these rivers off, they are Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Sutlej, and Beas. So let's finally get agriculture in the past, and let's finally talk about symbols. What are some great symbols of this great state? Firstly, the official animal of Punjab is the black buck. And the reason for this is because the antelope is very common in the region of Punjab, and as well as other areas of India and Pakistan. And as for the official bird, this goes to the northern goshawk, which is a very pretty looking hawk, I'm not gonna lie, but one thing that's really fascinating about it is it's not really seen within the region. These hawks are more common in places like Iceland and Greenland, and even seen in Canada, but however can be seen in part of the Himalayan mountains. And it's probably why they actually chose this animal, because it's quite rare in Punjab. And for its last symbol, let's talk about the tree of Punjab, which is the Indian rosewood, or more commonly known as Dalbergia siso. And to close it all off out, guys, one thing that is really important about the Punjab state is it has one interesting celebration and one interesting symbol that is all about brotherhood and togetherness. Punjab borders with many regions of Pakistan and Punjab, Pakistan, stretching over 425 kilometers. And although things may be different over in Pakistan, one thing that's very important is the togetherness and understanding of the two countries. And this is no better represented than at the Wagah border ceremony, which we've talked about in other videos before, but it is culturally significant to the two countries, as soldiers open the border gates and lower each other's flag, salute and shake each other's hands. And this is a very powerful and meaning celebration that shows the similarities towards each other. And on top of that, it is the only border ceremony and practice in the world that is done daily at the end of each day.